70, Sika kofi, the Golden Stool. It's of the Ashanti peoples who live in South Central Ghana. It was made circa 1700 CE, and it is gold over wood. There are two images. One is a contextual image showing the Golden Stool here next to the Ashanti king, and then here is the singular picture of the Golden Stool on its own chair. Context: the Ashanti people live here in Ghana and also here a little bit of Côte d'Ivoire right here, but mostly Ghana. The flag of the Ashanti people is shown here. They don't have a country, but they have this culture, and so this is not the flag of Ghana, it's the flag of the Ashanti people. Further context is this region of the world has supplied a lot of gold to what we call the Sahara gold trade, gold and salt trade. You can see these lines where gold is being taken up here all across Asia and Europe. Gold was always reserved for royalty in this culture, and so if you look at the contextual image, you will see the Ashanti Hini has lots of gold on his arms and around his neck, and all the people who are waiting on him in his court also have gold on, but it's mostly reserved for the people in the court. The myth or origin story of the Golden Stool is that in 1700, when the Ashanti people were united, the Golden Stool fell out of the sky into the lap of the first Ashanti Hini, Ose Tutu, and it was helped to have been brought there by a priest. And Sika kofi means the Golden Stool born on a Friday, referring to that event in 1700. And the Golden Stool is always seated on its own chair in court, and it is kind of more important than the leader himself, most would say. And it sits next to the leader on its own chair. So it represents the power of the leader. And you can see this is the image of the 16th leader of the Ashanti people. And this is Otumfudu Ose Tutu II, and he is the 16th Ashanti Hini, and he is being celebrated on the anniversary of the Golden Stool. So it's still very much a part of the Ashanti peoples today. In terms of content, the stool is an item that is used in Ashanti culture, not just for leaders, but for individuals as well. It's an item that is given by fathers to their children when they crawl. It is given, by husbands to their wives on their wedding day, and it is often carved out of a piece of wood. I've seen some that are brass, though, as well. And it is thought that there's this sumsun, which is the idea that a person's soul can be transferred into an object, and in this case, a stool. So a person sits on their stool, eating, socializing, and their own soul transfers into the stool. So it is placed on its side when that person isn't there, and kind of only the person who owns it sits in the stool. So that explains how the Golden Stool actually has the soul of the Ashanti people in it. Deceased people are washed before their final burial. They're washed while sitting on the stool. So it is of particular importance in the Ashanti culture. The form of our Golden Stool is that it is gold covering wood. It has bells that are placed on the stool so that if anybody touches it, the bells jingle and it's known that it's being moved. That's a warning. It is not sat upon by the leader, as again, it has its own chair, and it lays on its side, indicating that nobody's going to be sitting on it. Okay, and then it is kept on its own throne. I could call it a chair, but it's its own throne. And function, so it is the symbol of the Ashanti Hini's leadership. It also, as I said, holds the soul of the Ashanti people. It is their embodiment. It represents them. And the kind of more context is going to explain how that has been shown in history. So I'm going to go back to context here for a minute. The British wanted all of the gold that was found there on the Gold Coast, it's called. And they invaded the Gold Coast and fought 4 wars against the Ashanti people to get control of that gold trade. And after winning one of the wars in 1900, a British representative of the British government, Frederick Hodgson, came into the city victorious and said to the Ashanti chiefs, quote, "Where is the golden stool? Why am I not sitting on the golden stool at this moment? I am the representative of the paramount power. Why have you relegated me to this chair?" So he totally misunderstood the power of the golden stool, that no one sat on it. So the Queen Mother, Asante Wa, took the golden stool into hiding, and it was held and hidden by the Ashanti people for 20 some years. And she led a war against the British and their desire for the golden stool and the desire for control of the Ashanti people. And this is called actually the War of the Golden Stool. So she is highly revered in Ashanti culture. The golden stool was recovered in 1925 and today sits with the 16th leader of the Ashanti people. Interestingly, there is a Miss Golden Stool pageant. It is for women to empower women of the Ashanti culture. It has been going on for, I think, a few years. And so this is the Sika kofi, the golden stool of the Ashanti people in South Central Ghana. There's my cat's tail. It's circa 1700 that it was made, and it is gold over wood.